Hello and welcome to Your True Reflection, where I'm absolutely delighted to welcome to the show today Alex, who is a hypnotherapist, a clinical hypnotherapist with a background in psychology. So Alex, we are so grateful for your time today. And could you just share with the viewers at home a little bit more about your background?
Certainly. So thanks for having me here, and I'm honoured to be selected as one of your experts. So I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I've got about 15 years experience doing hypnosis, and my background is in psychology, and I specialise in anxiety, primarily helping people feel calmer, more in the present, and helping them free them from maladaptive coping mechanisms to deal with high anxiety, such as comfort eating or alcoholism or drug usage. So that's primarily my specialty at the moment, which I've been doing for a few years now. I'm from London originally, but now I work in Dorset. I see people online via Zoom, so I can help people wherever they are in the world, which is great.
It's incredible the work that you are doing. Thank you, Alex. And I just wanted to ask you, can you tell me how you help women that are suffering from domestic abuse or stalking?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, these women that have been going through stalking or domestic abuse and violence, they're suffering from a high level of anxiety, which understandably so they would be from the past trauma, from the worries regarding the future and what that looks like. So my job is to sort of swoop in and help these women feel more calmer. So to reduce the high levels of fight or flight anxiety they are suffering with every single day of their lives, and to reduce the amount of time they spend ruminating over the past trauma, reliving it in their systems, which is quite easy to do if you've been through something scary and traumatic. And there's a reason for that, which I think I'll go through later, but primarily it's to help them stop reliving the past trauma, which in itself creates excess anxiety in the system, and to help them stop them worrying and catastrophizing about the future as well, because that again creates stress hormones within the body and creates more anxiety. And the other thing I help people with who have been through domestic abuse, stalking and all that stuff, is to help them feel triggered when they are around their ex-partner or the person, the perpetrator. Because in some people's situations, they face, because sometimes they do have to face them in court, or perhaps they have the unfortunate incidents of living in this nearby neighborhood of this person. And, it's really helpful for them to have this inner strength around this person, so they're less of a victim. And if they did come across them in a situation, a courtroom or on the streets, they wouldn't automatically disintegrate and fumble. They'd be able to keep strength and calmness and help themselves out of that situation in a good way, as opposed to just disintegrating, especially for the children with them. You want them to feel calmer, so they can call the police or they can action something straight away.
And how would you help them do that? What's the technique that you would use to help women navigate that situation?
Yeah, so the way I help people is through a method called hypnosis, which is the main method I use in my sessions. And it is the method through which we communicate with somebody's subconscious mind, which is the deeper part of the mind where our traumas are stored, where our phobias are stored, where our fears are stored. It controls our automatic thought processes, what we choose to worry about. It controls our breathing, our heart rate, our immune system, pretty much the powerhouse of the mind. So hypnosis is a method through which we communicate and reprogram somebody's subconscious to help make them function more efficiently. So I'll give you an example of something that I got by one of my trainers called Tim Box. It's a model of the mind called the ship. So if you think from the trauma of the abuse that she's been through, and she's the captain of a ship, and she wants to sail away to an island up north where she feels more calm, relaxed, and present, free from ruminating over past trauma and worrying all the time, and feeling less triggered around the perpetrator. Now, her subconscious is broken up into, let's say, crew members, so that they sail the ship for her, they row the ship. Some control their breathing, the heart rate, they're going the right way, they're going to that island. But some of these guys, one of them likes to ruminate over the past trauma. One of them feels extremely triggered by this perpetrator. One of them worries about the future incessantly. And these three parts of the subconscious, these crew members are going the opposite way. So that person now is effectively shipwrecked. They're not really. So my job would be to communicate with the subconscious, the crew members, and get them to row where the person wants to row. Now, your subconscious mind wants to help you there to make your life difficult. But the reason I would say, I'm not going to go into all the different angles that I help, but let's talk about the ruminating over the past trauma, for instance. People find it really hard to let go of doing that. And that's because there's a part of the subconscious mind that sees benefit in it. It believes if this person goes over in their mind the trauma, it will work out a way to prevent it from happening in the future with somebody else, for instance. But this becomes an unsolvable puzzle, because if we're going over a memory of trauma, we don't necessarily know, why someone did something, what we could have done to prevent it. There's so many circumstances that we haven't got control over, or things we don't know about, that we can never solve this puzzle of why this trauma happened in the first place. We certainly didn't deserve it, but we can't work out why it happened. But that's why the subconscious mind gets locked into this. And that's why people ruminate over past trauma. But just by reliving this constantly in your mind, you're creating stress hormones from reimagining it. Because your nervous system doesn't know the difference between what you're imagining versus what's happening. So it's like if you got pinned to the wall or hit, and you're reliving that 50 times when you're safe in your bed, your nervous system is pumping you with stress hormones, like it's happening again and again and again and again. So really, when people come to see me, they want to reduce the amount of time they're reliving these horrible circumstances. So I communicate to the subconscious when they're in hypnosis why ruminating is not helpful. The jigsaw puzzle will be never solved. And it's far better for this person to be solving the puzzles of today, like how can I get financial support? How can I escape this uncomfortable situation? How can I protect my children? Who can I reach out for some help? That's what we want to people, these women's minds to be functional in the present, how they can help themselves now, not the past. Again, so it's communicating with the subconscious again to stop worrying about the future. We're not fortune tellers. We don't know what the tomorrow brings. But certainly if you're consistently catastrophizing, again, you're creating untold stress hormones. Worrying about the future is like sitting in a rocking chair and never going anywhere. That's what it is. And getting jolts of anxiety. Now, in terms of that mentioned helping people feel less triggered around partners or these perpetrators, we don't want the person to feel laissez-faire around them. We want them to be vigilant when they're out on the street. Obviously, that's primarily important. But when they're in safe places like shelters or family homes or in a courtroom with other people around them, it's about making them feel calmer in those situations so they can handle the courtroom or the situations in a more calm manner with inner strength. We would not be taking away the vigilance when they're out in the street, but it's about getting the subconscious mind to keep them calmer in safe situations around this person. Does that explain hypnosis in detail? Because some people don't know what it is. I think it's sort of weird.
Yeah, there's so much to it. Yeah, absolutely. So much to the complex of the mind and especially and the body and how trauma, and it's all intertwined. So how would you use hypnosis to achieve a reduction in anxiety and the amount of time that they spend worrying and reliving the trauma?
So again, it would be so they would be speaking to their subconscious when they're in hypnosis, and it's just a case of telling the subconscious, this is what's happening. That's wrong. The ruminating's wrong. The trauma's happened. It was terrible, but we need to stop you fixating on this. We tell the subconscious to stop worrying about the future, catastrophe, essentially, because when you are in anxiety, you naturally think the worst. You tell help the person feel more calm in day-to-day life, but also being vigilant when they're out in the So all it is communicating the subconscious with someone when they're fully awake and conscious, whereas I would be speaking to the subconscious, hypnotized. And when you get those conscious, those programmed alterations, it's amazing how quickly you will spend less time ruminating about how much calmer you'll feel around this person, and how much less time you spend worrying about the future. Now, the reason I would like to anxiety is also because there's so many negative effects of functioning in fight or flight all the time. You know, it affects your sleep. If you're full of anxiety all the time, your sleep's going to be affected. You're not going to fall asleep, or you're going to wake up in the middle of the night multiple times. The second thing is, if you're functioning fight or flight, you are not going to be making logical decisions either. It's like you're drunk almost. You're not going to be able to make the decisions to get you out of the mess that you unfortunately in. Anxiety also can weaken your immune system, make you more prone to catch illnesses and bugs, etc., and flus. It also cause poor relations with your family, with your loved ones, because you're so emotionally dysregulated. So it's about helping someone feel more calm and in the present, so they can help themselves get out of the situation they're in. So in my sessions I use hypnosis, but I also give my clients a couple of techniques that they can use on their own to help them with anxiety and worries. I'd like me to teach them now for your viewers.
We would love that, absolutely. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so obviously this is something anybody can do. So the first one I want to relay to you is bilateral stimulation. And it is about stimulating the left and right side of your body to every second. Now, by doing this technique, I'll show you in a second how it works. You stimulate the right and left hemispheres of your brain by the action that you do, and it helps your brain process anxiety. Okay, so you don't get locked into it. So it's a simple way that anyone can do to ground themselves if they're feeling before going to courtroom, before making a phone call, before leaving the house. It's a way to calm their nervous system down. And there's plenty of ways to do it. I'll just demonstrate one way. So one way is just tapping left, right, left, right. So every second. So 1, 2, 1, 2. You can do it in a discrete way. You could tap your lap, left, right, left, right. Or even more discreet way, left foot, left foot. Sounds very basic, but trust me. Or if you're sitting in a courtroom or something, or trying to get a non-molestation order in place, you can have your hands onto your table and you could be doing your hands doing this left, right. It's a mirror image essentially of what you're doing on one side of the body, you're doing on the other side of the body. And what it does is it calms the nervous system down. So why don't you just practice this now? So if you just close your eyes down, Abby, okay, and just choose your preferred method of tapping, and just do it for a few seconds. All right, so make sure it's not frenetic, it's just 1 second. 1 second, that's it. And then anybody else that's watching, please join in. Anyway, open your eyes. So when you are in a heightened state of anxiety, you're able to notice the grounding sensation straight. If you're already feeling quite calm now, you haven't noticed a reduction in now, but if you were in heightened state of anxiety, this is a really good way. It's bilateral stimulation. It's from EMDR, and it's a really good technique that I teach all my clients to calm their nervous system down. They're feeling like they're sort of floating up, getting into fight or flight. It will calm you down. Okay. How did you feel doing that, Abby?
Really relaxed. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great technique that you can do it with just your fingers or your feet. So actually, nobody has to notice. And would you combine that with breathing at the same time? How would you breathe when you're tapping? Is there a breathe in or breathe out, or is there a particular way, or just normal breath?
Yeah, so there's options. So you can do normal breathing. You can do slow breath next to it. And I'll show you an evolved version, actually, if you like. Anyone's good at multitasking, let's try this version now. It's called the relaxed tapping method, I call it. So we start with the basic tapping. So if we start with this, so left, right, and then we're going to do a nice slow deep breath in whilst keeping the tap going. So breathe in, and then breathe out, okay, and then breathe in, and then breathe out. And the next thing you're going to do, in breath, you're going to think to your mind, say mind re in your head when you breathe in. So re on the in breath. And lax on the out breath. So you're saying the words re in your breath whilst the tapping going. So do all three things together now and don't stop. You're doing the tapping every second. You're doing the slow relaxing breath. You're saying relax. So, then you can open your eyes now. So there's a lot going on with that technique. There's a lot. You know, we've got the tapping, which calms the nervous system down anyways, which we've experienced in the first technique. We're slowing the breathing down. So it's a relax, a slower breath. So you're mimicking the breath of someone calm. You're not, you're faking it until you make it. And you're also sending a message to the mind, relax, relax. As opposed to what if this happens, what if that happens, this, da, 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 da. And the other thing is, because we're doing all of these three things at once, there's no room for anything else, is there? It's impossible. So it's a super powerful technique to stop your mind ruminating, okay, and to calm the nervous system down at the same time. How did you find that one?
Really, really relaxing, and such an important tool to have in your box that can be pulled out in many different scenarios. And as you mentioned about courtrooms and non-molestation orders, these are very, very stressful things for women that are suffering from anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder to have to navigate. So any tool that you can have in your box that can help you regulate your nervous system, lower that anxiety and make you present is such a gift. And your years of training and case studies and patience and expertise that you have shared with us today is such a blessing, Alex. We are so grateful for you to have come on the show today.
Oh, you're welcome. Absolutely. It's been a joy, being here today. That one technique I taught you, just remember you can do the bed as well. If you can't keep your minds working, you can tap in bed. But yes. But thanks for having me.
Thank you, Alex. And thank you also for helping when we've had some technical difficulties today. And we would, if you've enjoyed the show today, please like, please share, and please subscribe. And help our non-profit organisation, Your True Reflection, to help more people recover from trauma. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're the reflection of hope.